here's how to import documents from Safari into Speechify. So there's a tutorial here that shows you how to import from Safari, but for that I need to first open Safari, so I'm going to do that. And what I need to do is first click on the share button here, scroll all the way to the right, click on the more button, and then scroll all the way down, and I will find, here's Speechify, so I'm going to enable it, and I'm going to drag it all the way to the top. There's one other Speechify thing that we sometimes can enable, but it's not available here. Okay, so let's say I want to make a book for the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a document. So I'm going to click this, I'm going to click Speechify. There it is. And so now I can crop pages, I can change whatever I want. In this case, I'm just going to create the book. It's a slightly big book, so it's going to take a little bit of time to process. And I see that it broke it into two different parts for me.
How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. One first published in 1937. This grandfather of all people skills books was first published in 1937.
And that's how I can create a book out of that file. But there's a book actually, but let's say I want to take something from the New York Times. So I'm going to search for the New York Times. And okay, I see this first House panel votes to recommend something. I actually don't want to read it, but I want to listen. So I'm just going to share it to Speechify like that, listen now, and I can also choose to listen to it later. And so actually what I could hypothetically do is sit here, find 10 articles I want to listen to, and save them all to Speechify, and then listen to them later. So this is taking a little bit of time to load, just because I'm on not ideal Wi-Fi.
House panel approves Aaron Schaff, The New York Times, Washington. The House Judiciary Committee voted Wednesday to recommend the Household Attorney General William P. Barr in contempt of Congress for failing to turn over Robert S. Mueller II's unredacted report. So
that's how I can pull a New York Times article. But here's an interesting thing. So I love Harry Potter, and there's a new Harry Potter book that I want to listen to. It's fan fiction, and it's called Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality. And I'm just going to look for the .pdf, and I'm going to see if I can find it. So there's the PDF, and I'm going to share that to Speechify. Now, this is a book that has 1,600 pages in it. So it's a gigantic book. But here it is. So I'm going to create an audiobook out of that. Now, this is going to take longer to load because it's such a big book. So I'm going to wait for it as it's processing. I can even click here, and I can see that it's creating 9 different sections for me. But I'm going to let it load. It'll probably take another 30 seconds.
Part 1-9 Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality.
Part 1/9 Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality.
And what I could do is I can even choose to listen to it on the original PDF.
Every inch of wall space is covered by a bookcase. Each bookcase has 6 shelves, going almost to the ceiling. Some bookshelves are stacked to the brim with hardcover books, science, mathematics, adopted son, Harry James Potter Evans. There is a letter lying on the living room table, and an unstamped envelope of yellowish parchment, addressed to Mr. H. Potter in emerald green ink. The professor and his wife are speaking sharply at each other, but they are not shouting. The professor considers shouting to be uncivilized.
So this is a super easy way for me to now listen to this incredible book. And that's how to import documents and articles from Safari into Speechify.